as far back as I can remember, I would always, if I didn't have something, and it pretty much started with clothing, you know, that if my bell bottoms wasn't as big as everybody else's, because, you know, there was $2 more a pair of jeans to have the bell bottoms bigger. I had a cool aunt that taught me how to sew a bandana in the side of it so I'd make it bigger. I thought, oh, that's cool. So I learned how to, you know, I'm talking 10 years old. And that's one of my biggest memories of realizing, wow, I actually made those pants look cool. And everybody goes, wow, I like your pants. You know, the older teenagers going, hey man, cool pants. You know, I'm thinking, that's awesome. And throughout my life, it's, what is it I feel like I need, or what is it I want? So how can I play a role in doing it? You know, because sometimes if you don't have resources, if you don't have money, you know, you have to be creative to figure out how to get what it is you want, you know? You can't just go buy it because you ain't got the money to do it. So that's how it all started. I really believe, I'm always thinking about shit. Always. I had this deal back in the 80s, helmet wig. Everybody hated to wear helmets riding a Harley. So I came up with a wig that clamps over your helmet so that you could be cruising down the highway and you got hair flying out of it. Well, after a couple of cops was pulling over my friends with these helmet wigs, I knew that wasn't going to go really widespread. I knew I wanted to build a space where I could see the property and you know, and I'm such a car kid. I wanted to be able to sit there and have my car sitting right next to me, right? And then, you know, and so I built this deal where it's got a glass partition. It looks like a car dealership inside. You know, it is cool. Everybody teases me like they're at the car dealership because I have this great area where I do all my computer and video stuff, and then on the other side of the glass wall is the hot rod, and it's perfect. It's perfect. And then big windows, and so that's where things come to me. The secondhand scissor came out of that. From the secondhand scissor, the scissor saddle came out of that, and then the debulker, and everything that's come about with the debulker. The scissor saddle was this thing that, you know, you have this thumb ring that goes in scissors, you know, and they most scissors have them so that you don't push your thumb all the way through if you got a small thumb. Well, you're never supposed to put your thumb in it like this. Your thumb sits on the scissor ring like this, right? And so you're closing your thumb. That's the way you're supposed to do it, just like that. And your wrist needs to be straight. But a lot of times most people stick their thumb in it like this, and they kink their wrist, and they're chopping on the hair. And after about a year or two, they start having problems with their wrist. Can't figure out what's wrong. And after a few more years, they get problems in the shoulder. And the proper way to hold this pair of scissors is where your wrist is straight and the thumb just rests. I had a great ride. I was a freelance editorial hairdresser living in New York, and then a celebrity hairdresser in LA, and I was doing everybody's hair that was, you know, from the supermodels in the 80s, because I assisted this guy named Chris John, and I lived in New York. I was a working editorial hairdresser. I was making a living paying rent in New York, and then went to LA and lived in the Hollywood Hills and thought I was going to be a next whatever I thought I was going to be. Those editorial years of a hairdresser, it really inflates one's ego, being in that world, because you're working on people that's their job, either to make somebody bigger than life, be it an agent, press agent, manager, whatever. Their job was to make this actor and musician bigger than life. And then when you're there in that midst of bigger than life human beings, you start buying in that you're that too, you know? And that took a lot of us out, hair and makeup people and wardrobe people. I mean, we didn't have the resources that the wealthy, talented had. We were talented, but we didn't have the wealth. And so when you run like they try to run, eventually that road's a lot shorter than their road. You know, they can go a lot longer. And here's the secret, and I firmly believe this. The definition of talent is the desire to practice. Hands down. Now, of course, there's people born with talent, and we see these little two-year-old playing pianos. That's bizarre stuff. That doesn't happen to everybody. So if you're going to be really great at something, you got to practice your ass off till it bores you to death, till it's the last thing you want to do that day, but you do it anyway. I know there's moments and times in my career and in my life I've been great at something. And every one of them I can look back right before that is because I was giving that deliberate practice to be great at that. I wasn't messing around. I was like, man, I'm going to do it and I'm going to practice it until I'm sick of it. And then you have a moment of greatness from it. I didn't have a childhood. You know, I mean, and when I say that, I was placed in a situation with my mother being 15 years older than me. That's how old she was when she had me. She got rheumatoid arthritis when she was about 23, which, you know, made me, you know, not 8 years old. And to the point where she was in a wheelchair by the time she was 25. And so I took care of my mom, you know, from that age 8 to when I left and moved with my dad when I was 14, because I was getting to become a rascal. You know, you do that at that age. And things were always just sad, man. It was just a sad deal. You know, to have a mom that was beautiful, you know, tall, but she hadn't been tall since she's been in a wheelchair. So it was like gorgeous, great sense of humor, and had this weird ass disease called rheumatoid arthritis that nobody understood anything about. So, you know, I was her caretaker between me and her husbands. Plural. And she always married bikers. All my role models were bikers and ex-cons. That's where the tattoos came from at age 12. and so I spent a long time, man, not being sad about whatever the cards I got dealt, and held on to it for so long. I mean, after my mom had passed away, and you know, just held on to that sadness for so long, and the thoughts in your head that tell you you're less than, that tell you you really don't belong here. There's something really weird about you. Why are you not as popular as everybody else? Why? How come they have a new car? How come there must be something wrong with me? Why can't I keep a girlfriend? Why can't I keep a marriage? There's something wrong with me. Oh, poor me. It's all about me, you know. And really, at the end of the day, it was me. I was the one creating all the shit in my life. I was the one, you know. So no girl was going to fix it. No bike. Nothing was going to fix it. That space that you go into, that you can really, like, I mean, it's like a bad neighborhood, man, and you're in there by yourself. You better get the hell out of there, you know. You better get out of there, man. You know, get to where it's not so harmful. And really, 15 years ago, I just said, no, that's enough. I need to start being around happy people. I need to start reintroducing myself to things that make me feel good about myself. I like hair, I like to paint, I like art, I like motorcycles, I like hot rods, I like, you know, all that kind of stuff. If I'm in my head too much, if I go do something with my hands, it goes away. A friend of mine says, you need to read the book Rule 62. I said, all right, I will. All right, look it up. I can't find it. Finally, I have to Google it. I still couldn't find it. Finally, a guy says, I know where there's one at. It's at a bookstore in Bodie Tree in West Hollywood. And I said, you have the Rule 62? And she goes, oh, yeah, we have that book. I went over there and I got it. Nice cover, Rule 62. Open the first pages, there's nothing. Third, fourth pages, there's nothing. There's no print on it. And I'm holding it, and as it cracks open to the middle of the book, the binder of the book, there it is, Rule 62. Don't take yourself so damn serious. And damn, I mean, I know it's the book everybody should have.
Brilliant.
So that's what I try to do. I try not to take myself so serious, like tomorrow, you know, when I get ready and it's 4:05 and music's getting ready to start. My model's out on the stage. you know, I'm going to have to just remember to enjoy myself. You know, have fun. There's no mistakes. You know, yeah, model falls, that's not fun. I cut my finger, that's not fun. But you just roll with it. Suit up, show up, and shut up, you know?
Tell me about that. It's a great phrase.
Just a friend of mine told me that one time, a long time ago. He says, hey man, if you're new in a room and you're the new guy in the room, just suit up, look the part, look like you're supposed to look if you're going to be in that room, and show up, be there on time. Early is on time. And just shut up. Listen. They don't want to hear anything you have to say. Just listen. Listen. And then when they ask you to say something, then you give your opinion. And that paid off every time. That's paid off every time in my life. When I suit up, even if I miss one of those, if I suit up and I show up on time and all that shit, and I walk in, blah, 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 I'm missing it. I'm missing what's in the room that's there for me to be a part of. And there was seemed to be a group of people that were really, really good at what they did, and some that weren't, and I wanted to be around those guys. And then I realized there was another category. There was other guys that were really great at what they did. And so I got to watch through an example between bad and good and great, and creating great. Because you're never going to get great all the time. But if you fall short, you're always good.